Good evening and welcome to CYC News for today, the 10th of November 2013 and the 1st of Hatur, 17:30 am. I'm Leanne Gabriel.
And I'm Mina Nada. In today's headlines, Islamists attack the Virgin Mary Church in Zaytoun for the second time. Bishop Paula threatens to withdraw from the Egyptian Constitution Drafting Committee. A monster storm roars into the Philippines, causing widespread destruction. The US loses UNESCO voting rights after failing to pay its dues. And investigations continue over the poisoning of Yasser Arafat.
Starting in Egypt, attempts were made to attack the Virgin Mary Church in Zaytoun during a Muslim Brotherhood march on Friday. Marchers wrote anti-Coptic phrases on the church's walls and clashed with the Copts. The situation was contained before it escalated further. The Virgin Mary Church is known for the appearance of St. Mary, said to have appeared on the domes of the church on the 2nd of April 1968. In another march of the Muslim Brotherhood 2 weeks ago, the very same church was attacked. Copts have been subjected to fierce attacks by Islamists since the ouster of President Mohammed Morsi on the 3rd of July and the breaking up of Muslim Brotherhood sit-ins in Rabaa Adawiya and Nahda squares on August 14th.
The attacks resulted in the burning of 82 churches, of which 32 were completely destroyed, in addition to the looting and torching of a large number of Coptic homes and shops in various Egyptian provinces. His Grace Bishop Paula, Tanta's Coptic Orthodox bishop, has threatened to withdraw from the committee should Article 219 be included in the Constitution. He said that there is a general agreement among the committee to exclude the article, but there are attempts to appease the Salafi movement. Civil representatives and Egyptian intellectuals have expressed their rejection of the inclusion of Article 219, as they believe it opens the door to the establishment of a religious state. Salafi Al-Noor Party seeks to cast an Islamic light on the Constitution by agreeing to include Article 219 in the Constitution. Critics claim that the controversial article is discriminatory to non-Sunni religious identities, as it emphasises Sharia law. His Grace Bishop Paula also concluded that the drafting committee completely disregards the majority consensus of the committee that the article be excluded.
One of the strongest typhoons ever to hit land has hit the Philippines and killed at least 4 people and forced hundreds of thousands out of their homes. With sustained winds of up to 320 kilometres an hour, the full damage that Typhoon Haiyan has caused may not be known for some time. The storm caused landslides as it ploughed across the country's central islands. Officials say that more than 12 million people are at risk, but the storm's rapid passing could limit the devastation. Eduardo Del Rosario, head of the Disaster Response Agency, explains that early evacuations may have helped reduce the typhoon's destructive potential. Meteorologists had warned that the earliest storm could be as bad as Typhoon Bopha in 2012, which destroyed parts of the southern Philippines and left 1,000 people dead.
UN cultural agency UNESCO has suspended US voting rights after Washington skipped a deadline for paying its dues. The US stopped its contributions, which make up about 1/5 of the agency's funding, when UNESCO gave the Palestinians membership in 2011. Israel, which halted its dues at the same time, has also had its UNESCO voting rights suspended. The US and Israel said admitting the Palestinians was a misguided attempt to bypass the Middle East peace process. UNESCO's loss of $80 million a year in US funding has forced it to pare back American-led initiatives, including Holocaust education. The US has said it cannot legally contribute to a UN agency that implies recognition of a Palestinian state. The American ambassador to UNESCO, David Killion, told Reuters news agency, "We intend to continue our engagement with UNESCO in every possible way." The Paris-based agency is charged with designing World Heritage sites, promoting education, and supporting press freedom. The US suspension comes amid attempts by Washington to broker peace negotiations between Israel and Palestine.
Toronto Mayor Rob Ford is now under pressure to quit after admitting he smoked crack cocaine and had a drinking problem. His lawyers say that he could enter rehab. Dennis Morris told the Globe and the Mail that the Mayor of Canada's largest city was considering options. His comments come a day after Mr. Ford apologised for a video of him threatening to kill an unknown person. The 44-year-old married father of 2 said he was extremely inebriated at the time it was filmed and that he was embarrassed by it. Last week, Toronto police said they have a separate video apparently showing Mr. Ford smoking crack cocaine which has not yet been made public.
The Palestinian committee investigating the death of Yasser Arafat in 2004 has said Israel is the only suspect. A Swiss report published this week said specimens from Arafat's exhumed body contained unexpectedly high levels of the radioactive element, polonium-210. The Palestinian investigators said the report showed Arafat did not die because of old age or ill health, but was the victim of an assassination. Israel's government has dismissed this suggestion that it was involved. The Palestinian leader died in Paris less than a month after being taken ill in the West Bank. His medical records said he had a stroke resulting from a blood disorder. His widow agreed to allow Swiss, Russian and French experts to take samples from her late husband's remains last November, after traces of polonium-210 were found on Arafat's personal effects in 2011.
The US economy has gained a better-than-expected 204,000 jobs in October, according to the latest figures from the Labor Department. There had been fears that the 16-day shutdown of the government last month could have hit job growth. The monthly non-farm payroll figure is taken as a key indicator of the status of the world's biggest economy. However, the latest figures also show that unemployment rate edged up from 7.3% from 7.2% in September. The Labor Department says this was likely to be because many of the federal workers were counted as unemployed during the government shutdown.
US President Barack Obama has apologised to Americans whose health insurance plans have been cancelled as a result of his signature health law. In recent weeks, insurance companies have reportedly cancelled policies that do not meet strict requirements under Mr. Obama's 2010 healthcare overhaul. "We didn't do a good enough job in terms of how we crafted the law," he said in an interview with NBC News. But a senior Republican labelled his remarks as a half-hearted apology. During his campaign for the passage of the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, Mr. Obama repeatedly insisted that people who liked their health insurance policies would be able to keep them.
A new survey suggests that the countries worst hit by the global financial crisis saw their happiness levels fall as a result. According to the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, levels of life satisfaction fell sharply between 2007 and 2012 in countries like Greece and Spain. Trust in governments also deteriorated over that time. The organisation says the findings show the far-reaching impact of the crisis. However, the UK saw its happiness levels rise 1% between 2007 and 2012, putting it in the top 20% of the happiest countries, alongside Australia, Canada, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland and New Zealand. The UK also buckled the trend by showing a rise in trust in the government, up from 36% to 47% between 2007 and 2011. Greece saw an average life satisfaction level fall by 20%, while Spain saw a decline of 12% and Italy 10%. Countries less affected by the economic downturn saw less of an impact on happiness levels. In Germany, life satisfaction rose by 4% over the same 5-year period.
And that's all for CYC News today. Stay tuned for more Christian content on CYC News. I'm Mina Nada.
And I'm Leanne Gabriel. From the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia, good night and God bless.